least $5,100 or much more if you're trading big bucks.
Good evening, everyone. You're welcome to yet the first episode of Closing Bell on Stocker Team. I am here with my co-founder, Kenny. This is Stocker Team, the Investors Channel. We're very happy to bring you this episode. Kenny, I'm going to test CNBC's audio. I'm dialing CNBC where we get video footage from Wall Street and also getting much more deeper live coverage. Just let me know if CNBC is you're able to hear CNBC.
Action weekdays. The trade heads are gathering.
Yes. I hear CNBC.
CNBC.com
Working
and
perfectly.
the app
Yeah.
anytime.
So
Let's get to
that
your
means our
headlines.
audience will be able
Only
to
on
enjoy that.
CNBC.
So yes, today is the 27th of August, 2026. We have a very, very jam-packed show for you today. And we are also going to be talking about so many things that you have been looking forward to. We have a technical issue on stockerteam.com, which our tech team is actually looking into, but we are able to actually go through major headlines for today. So Kenny, you're welcome. Welcome to the audience. We will be getting started now. And the first thing we need to talk about are the breaking news that actually came out today. So I'm just going to share my screen for us to actually go through the breaking news. So today, a flurry of news actually came out today. The first news, which is one of the stories you can see at the top. At the top, you can see OPay is now planning to launch its listing or to list on the Nigerian exchange, which is the Nigerian Stock Exchange. OPay is reportedly now in conversation behind the scene to do a dual listing on the Nigerian exchange. And for some of us who are not aware, OPay is perhaps the biggest fintech in Nigeria, which has now been valued at about $4 billion. OPay has signified interest to list on the US stock market, which is already on deck. But the government of Nigeria, with maybe the Nigerian exchange, actually did some lobbying, and they actually maybe persuaded OPay to have a dual listing, not just a listing not just on the US stock market, but also on the Nigerian exchange. Kenny, what do you think about this?
Yeah, thank you, Sam. I remember when the news broke out that OPay would be snubbing the Nigerian market to focus on US, and then there was a lot of rancor amongst the Nigerian investing public who felt that it was unfair for OPay to, raise funds from the Nigerian market and not invest in the market back by way of, listing in the Nigerian stock market. So the news that OPay will be pursuing a dual listing in the US and in Nigeria is a very welcome development. I think it's music to my ears that at least, in a time where the Dangote refinery IPO has been making news and that the buzz has been creating, we have another good news. We have something to look up to. So I think it's a really, really good one for the Nigerian stock market.
Yeah, thank you so much. So it's going to really deepen the diversity and the depth of the market. Let me put it that way, because the NGX is majorly maybe about 10 to 15 stocks that are majorly the liquidity driver, and the remaining companies are very, very low float companies that do not necessarily move the needle. The number of shareholders they have are very tiny. So OPay, planning to now go into the Nigerian stock market to list properly, and also Dangote Refinery, which is going to be the biggest IPO ever in the history of Africa, which is on deck for October. called the People's IPO, will also make it very, very interesting for the Nigerian investing community and also the global market, looking into Nigeria. The second news we'll be looking at on stockexchange.com today is FTSE Russell. FTSE Russell, which is more or less the index that actually allows global investors to invest in different markets, in different part of the market, in different regions, has now made the decision to go ahead with the classification of Nigeria as a frontier market. So FTSE Russell actually wanted to stop that classification because of the T+2 or T+1 that the Nigerian exchange actually was moving to. But due to some conversation that they've had, they are now going ahead to classify Nigeria as a frontier market. In fact, before they removed Nigeria from the classification by, when the Nigerian economy was very, very liquid, there was no forex liquidity in the market. A lot of investors couldn't get their money out. And in the last 3 years or almost 4 years now that the new government, which took power in 2023, they've now changed a whole lot of things. And the Nigerian naira has now been stable. The subsidy that actually drains the public purse has been, removed totally. So the liquidity and the ability of investors to move in money and out is now a bit better, and that's has actually allowed FTSE Russell to now go ahead with the classification of Nigeria. Kenny, do you have any update, any comment on this?
Yes, I would say FTSE Russell's stance on the Nigerian stock market, I believe it's a testament to the hard work that has been going on behind the scenes, for I think the past 3 to 4 years to position the Nigerian stock markets, amongst our global peers. It's heartwarming. It's heartwarming, to hear this. Initially, we heard that the NGX will be excluded and all, but I think this goes to show that a lot of hard work has been done by stakeholders in this sector to to position the NGX well. So it's a good one for us.
Yes. So if you're an investor in the Nigerian market and you are wondering what exactly is FTSE Russell, how does this affect my portfolio or my stocks exposure in Nigeria? It just means that global investors who actually invest through the FTSE Russell index. So the FTSE Russell is actually an index that covers different markets, different emerging markets or developed markets. So a whole lot of global investors who also invest maybe in companies listed on the Nigerian stock market can now actually invest through FTSE Russell. Many of those companies, many of those investors actually stopped investing in Nigeria like almost 7 to 10 years ago. And now FTSE Russell putting Nigeria in the frontier status now allows Nigeria to be in the basket of frontier markets where investors can actually plug in and invest. And you will see some major stocks. This is not recommendation. This is not financial advice, as the major mega cap stocks that are likely to benefit from that classification, maybe the likes of Dangote Cement, large cap stocks, MTN, maybe Airtel, maybe GTCO, maybe even FBN Holdings or First Holdco. So you could see that as soon as that classification takes effect, maybe towards end of September, we could actually see some movement. What that also means is that it increases liquidity in the Nigerian stock market, and a lot of investors can easily buy and sell many of these shares. And you could see that ability for global investors to plug into the market. I'll go to the third news, which is quite interesting. NVIDIA did something very remarkable, which we did the coverage yesterday. So if you missed the episode yesterday when we actually did coverage of NVIDIA's second quarter result, you can go to our YouTube channel at Stocker Team Live, and you should be able to actually watch the episode. Now, what exactly is going on with NVIDIA? I'm going to see whether I can project Darlene CNBC. So you could actually see that a lot of stocks, including Nvidia today, have gone up very, very dramatically. Nvidia reported the best of the results ever in the history of the company, over $96 billion, for just the first, the second quarter of this year. Nvidia is also reporting that as from next quarter, third quarter results, Nvidia is expecting to actually report close to about over $100 billion, $108 billion for that matter. So Nvidia stock today has rallied so dramatically. In fact, the Stochastic index, which has Nvidia as the biggest, I'm just going to project that so that we can see the scale of this movement. So this should still come up. Yeah, you can see the Stochastic index today is up by over 3%. And in fact, just to put things into perspective, today perhaps is the biggest move in the Stochastic index. The Stochastic index is actually the index that actually mirrors and tracks the performance of our portfolio as Stochastic. And you could see that today alone, the S&P 500 has done over 1%. The Nasdaq has done over 1%, and S&P has done 0.62%. Kenny, what do you think about Nvidia's blockbuster record-breaking result so far?
Yes, we were talking about Nvidia yesterday, and we made a point that Nvidia's success would definitely rub off on the broader market. So today we saw an Nvidia-led rally in other stocks. We saw Salesforce doing this thing. We saw CrowdStrike also rallying. Yeah, Nvidia did the numbers. Nvidia smashed expectations, and we're talking about the SaaS apocalypse and all. I think to a large extent, Nvidia has been able to quell all the fears of AI being being a money grubbing basket, and also we felt that Nvidia would do numbers, but yesterday we're left gobsmacked because Nvidia did way more than we expected, and of course this rally is a testament to that.
Yeah, so that's basically what we've seen today. We've seen the stocks of several other software companies, especially enterprise software. We've seen their stocks doing dramatic numbers. Snowflakes actually went up. CRM, Salesforce went as 20%. We've seen several other software stocks has really gone up. So, Mark Benioff, CEO of Snowflakes, actually said SaaSpocalypse, which was the more or less the scaremongering that was used to actually push down the stock price of a lot of software companies. And Mark Benioff said SaaSpocalypse rather, or what it was termed, was actually nonsense. It doesn't necessarily make sense because the enterprise legacy software are actually the driver of the global economy. And today, the 27th of August, 2026, we are about to get to the closing bell, which is the hallmark of today's event. Let's hear from CNBC. Can you just confirm if you can hear the audio?
And last night from the NVIDIA CFO, but bottom line is that is a trade.
Yes, I can hear the audio.
We want to remain involved.
Thank you.
In beta. We want to be involved in domestic large cap, really still using that fixed income trade as the funding source. Last thing I'd say, real assets tends to be an area that people are really underweight or just don't have in portfolios. We think tomorrow with Jackson Hole, having some real asset exposure is important for clients and important for investors.
You think we get market moving stuff from Jackson Hole tomorrow?
I think we get something. I don't think this is a case where Kevin Warsh can sit back and say, hey, I'm just benignly looking at the bond market. I think the chatter from Druckenmiller this week, the chatter from Scott Bessent, there needs to be an active communication between the Fed and markets. And so I do expect to have at least some indications, if not for more, from some of the governors that will be interviewed by the likes of CNBC and others. So I do think some transmission mechanism is expected.
Just
it
going
has to be an active conversation.
Moving down, yes, today, the 27th of August, 2026, the market is now closed. It's the closing bell on Wall Street. Thank you so much for all the investors who have been following us. We cannot complain. The markets has really come back fully. The Nasdaq 100 did over 1%. We've seen the S&P 500 also did 0.7%. The Dow was a bit smaller, 0.21, 0.18%. Russell actually about 0.28%. And we've seen the winner for today. It's actually Nvidia. This is a company that has really weathered the storm. The company has actually been said to be doing secular financing. Is Nvidia's GPU going to be in high demand? Has Nvidia actually topped? Is Nvidia really going to start pulling back aggressively? And the stock really pulled back because we saw that in the last 3 months or even 6 months, Nvidia has been so cheap. Nvidia trading almost below 30 PE ratio, which is price to earnings ratio. Kenny, what do you think about today generally? You can see on CNBC, Nvidia actually went up as high as almost 9%. In fact, Nvidia almost did 10% today, but due to profit taking here and there, and a lot of traders who are doing options, you could actually see that Nvidia closed the market today by over almost 9%. Kenny, your comment.
I think what we see in the markets today is a testament to Nvidia's quenching the fire of the apocalypse, for one, quenching the fire of the claims of Nvidia pouring money into a basket and all. So it's a good one. It's a good one. I am happy that this is happening. That Nvidia is doing the numbers, I think. But the important thing is it's actually dragging along other stocks alongside. We can't talk about Nvidia's number without talking about what Salesforce did today. What CrowdStrike did. So we are all in the green, and it's a good one to see. The market is back.
Yes, I think thank you so much for that, Kenny. I think for many investors, what really made this year, you can see even SK Hynix, which is the Korean memory chip maker, has done record numbers this year. Synopsys, which is also a chip maker, over 13%. But coming to my comment, I think what really made the market to slow down this year is not unrelated with what's going on in Iran, in the Middle East. We've seen inflation really has been sticky. We've seen demand for oil and gas, especially crude oil, has really done record numbers, which is not too good for consumers who actually have to pay more for petrol or for gas and all of that. So all of this higher inflation, high cost of goods and services is actually affecting technology companies, because on a scale of 1 to 10, tech companies are actually seen as more risky because they take a lot of debt. They actually take more risk. They spend a lot of money on R&D. They pay a lot of engineers who actually earn 6 figures, 7 figures. So tech companies really react very negatively when we have inflation. So we do not necessarily think we have seen the top in the market. The market really has pulled back aggressively this year. Yes, we've seen a retracement. We've seen, in fact, if I can go back to the big board on stockatm.com, if we look at year to date, we can see that even the S&P 500, I'm just going to share that tab now so that we can see that. So even the S&P 500 has only managed to do 12% on a very good year. S&P 500 actually does close to 20% or even more than 20%. It's just the Nasdaq that has also struggled to do 15%. So we haven't seen so much. It is still all-time high anyway, but at the end of the day, it's not necessarily that the market has really done so well, and we can't have it better than this. So that's what we actually see. Tomorrow is going to be the last day of trading on Wall Street. We will also try and bring you a closing bell. Let's take some commentary from CNBC, and they're saying Nvidia's best day of the year is what we're having today.
Yeah, please work on the audio.
Okay. Has it gone off now?
No.
Okay. So, and just to bring this to a very, very profitable moment for today, is what we have seen as Stocker Team is that investors are actually worried about, the valuations of AI. Investors are still very, very much worried about valuations of AI. Investors actually want to see more profitable result from AI companies. Investors believe that the billions and hundreds of billions of dollars that have been spent and are still being spent on AI data centers, GPUs from NVIDIA, a whole lot of infrastructure build out that is happening across the US, across even Africa. We've seen that even in Lagos, Nigeria, the commercial capital of the West African region. Lagos, we've seen close to about 3 new data centers that has actually been launched in the last 1 year or 2 years thereabout. That's actually a record number. So, and we also believe that so many other data centers are in the pipeline. So, just looking at the scale of data center build out in Lagos alone. Now look at so many other data centers that are being built, even here in the UK, in the US. Texas is actually getting record numbers of data centers being built. So all of these monies are being spent, and it is still believed that the compute that we need to get artificial general intelligence, we do not necessarily even have it yet. So on one hand, NVIDIA is likely to continue to get much more demand for these advanced GPUs. NVIDIA is actually going to get much more demand for NVIDIA's CUDA platform, which actually powers a whole lot of AI trainings that these AI companies actually use to train their models. NVIDIA is also continuing going to be investing in its own open source model. We've seen what NVIDIA actually did today, which I really want to bring to the table before we actually close the episode for today. NVIDIA actually announced as part of the, I'm just going to bring that here now. Yeah, NVIDIA announced that they will be acquiring Hugging Face. Hugging Face is actually an AI model training platform, which has really, really done well. So NVIDIA has seen that the future it's not just producing these advanced chips. It's also NVIDIA also investing in their own model that is open source. And when a model is open source, what you actually now need to pay for as an AI company or any company running those open source on their own compute, on their own on their own premise, or and they want to own the sovereignty to their data and everything, they now need compute. And who has compute? NVIDIA has compute. NVIDIA has invested in new clouds, the likes of Nebius, CoreWeave. So all of these things are actually very, very interesting. And so, yes, investors are worried that AI investment is going to drive up so much more uncertainty, so much more expectation to the bottom line of these AI companies. And they actually need to continue to prove that they can remain profitable, that they can actually manage their cost, and that AI investment in the medium to long term is actually worth it. Kenny, your comment?
Yes, I want to add that apart from I think Organ Space, I think Nvidia also I think did something with N-Scale. I'm not sure what the company's name is exactly. So it's all good, and I believe Nvidia's investment into other companies, into compute, you know acquisitions here and there, shows that Nvidia might be the stock to go to for the long term. Um, Yesterday we were talking about OpenAI's is it Jalapeno? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
Jalapeno chip, Jalapeno, yeah. So Nvidia's Blackwell is also there competing favorably. I think Nvidia has or is continuing to position itself atop the AI sector, and it's a good one.
Yeah, so that's so much we can take today. It's been very interesting. Our first closing bell edition are started now. We are going to come back tomorrow where we bring you the last closing bell for the week. And we thank everyone that has joined. This is just a few days that we are trying to, start this live streaming. We are going to be streaming much more further than YouTube. We are going to be streaming into X. We are going to be streaming into Twitch. We are going to be streaming into TikTok and Instagram. So whichever platform you really prefer to actually watch us and see our content, will be there, and we'll be planning to actually go big. You've been watching Stockerton Live, closing bell. Kenny, thank you so much for being here once again. Till we meet
Thank you for having
tomorrow.
me.
Yes, actually, we'll meet tomorrow, 8:45 p.m. before the closing bell on Wall Street. My name is Sam, and I've been hosting with Kenny. Take care and bye bye, everyone.